Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for being with us on Debate411. As always, my name is Eugene Nangwe. We're talking about the issue of the role of ICT in entrepreneurship. And of course, we have a live studio audience and also our panelists today on the program. We have Jean-Claude Nayambaje, who is the Empowerment and Employment Manager at Dot Rwanda, John Skizihira, who is the IT Manager, BDF, and of course, we have Josephine, who's the Acting Director, ICT, My ICT, and Chusa Leandra, CEO, Chuda Limited. And it's time to get to hear from our audience concerning this particular topic. So we can have the microphone to just go straight. You can say your name and then shoot your question immediately. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Augustine Kanyarukato. I'm from Musanze district and I represent the mayor of Musanze. I have been excited by the two witnesses who have been telling us how they have achieved through ICT. And I'm sure that the perspective of ICT as a generating income tool can be strengthened not by using it in chatting and using some useless stories, as the acting director of ICT have been addressing us. And to be not so talkative, I would like to end my word by asking TechnoServe to extend its activities in the whole district, because the 12 sectors out of 15 are covered, and it should be better if all sectors are benefiting of TechnoServe intervention.
Right.
Because here we are with the mayor of Gakenke district. As the local leaders, we are facing what we can call the ghost international NGOs or local NGOs, but sincerely speaking, TechnoServe is not a ghost in NGO. It is a vibrating NGO. Thank you very much.
Right. While you still have the microphone, I'm so happy, by the way, we do not have ghosts. I'm so scared of ghosts. Listen, most of the time, these districts, these areas, provide opportunities for young people when it comes to jobs. And, Madam Josephine mentioned the role of information in this. And we have had criticism on these districts and areas that have websites that are so dormant and do not give information concerning the available opportunities for young people in those areas. Let's talk about your area. How are you using your tools, if you have a website, for example, to inform the young entrepreneurs of opportunities that are available in that area? Talk to me.
Thank you, Mr. Eugene. In local government, all districts have their own website. And when it is obvious to post on the website the information which can benefit all concerns, we put any information on that website. And local leaders have many tools to communicate to their citizens, to partners, the opportunities in the district or in the province as well.
So you feel this accusation is not a true accusation, that you do not really inform a lot or enough your people?
Our people are informed,
okay,
but it is better to inform more.
All right.
Thank
you. That's always the best way to take the blame, but of course say we are doing something. Thank you so much, sir. Let's go to, yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. This is a very good forum to improve or to increase, create employment for youth using ICT. And I thank very much TechnoServe for this initiative to invite us. I'm Judy Wamwiza. I stand here for LODA. LODA is, can say, a pool of fund from different funders, donors of Rwandan government. Not only a fund, but also capacity building to districts or districts. Then I have a question to Mrs. Josephine. Some funders say innovative projects or innovations. What is an innovation? There we have some funds, even current. I'm so happy that 2 districts among 8 here are in pilot for RODA to exercise that fund from one of the funders. What if they as a requirement, and say what are the do the government have like a written document that show that there is innovative projects or innovations? Because they say, yeah, we have fund, this is the fund, but you want to fund innovative projects. Do you have like a list or where we can refer us to show, to see the innovative projects, to convince these partners to fund some projects in the different districts? Thank you so much.
Right, very good question, straight to the point. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judy, for the question, and thank you for the information, actually, that we have more opportunities to get funding for our young startups and innovations. As per the question, straight to asking whether there's a list or a document where you can find all the innovations, I would say that innovations are in different areas, like sectors of the economy. So depending on the sector, I know for us in ICT, we have, we work with our ICT chamber of the Private Sector Federation, which is closely working with the Knowledge Hub, the K-Lab, where we expect our young innovators to be working from, as well as other innovation hubs like Hehe Hubs, Impact Hubs, the office, or other branches of the K-Lab at college and university campuses. For instance, in the Kigali, used to be Kigali Institute of Science and Technology, now is the UR College of Science and Technology. So all those places, we have young people working from there, working on their innovations, on creating new things. So I can't say we have a database of all of them, but we know where to find them. So maybe it's an input or comment that I can take to be able to secure a list that is ready. So if we our funding is not enough, to also get to attract more partners that are going to fund. So if it's needed, we can work on it easily and get it as soon as possible, but we also make sure we keep it as a database of our innovations.
Right, I think from that question it is definitely needed. While you still have the floor, there is a tweet right here from Nyemanzi Bosco, who says digital transformation, ICT is a key element in modern business, especially entrepreneurship and innovation, and he says include the youth to drive it. From this point, there's a feeling of not fully being included in this process. Is it about the language we're using that is scaring these youth away? Why do we have a sense of feeling that we are not part of this, and yet we are key in driving this particular agenda?
Thank you, and thank you for that tweet. I see the youth testifying they are the ones really using ICTs. They can tweet, they can use social media. And yes, as I mentioned, in the Smart Rwanda Master Plan, there's a focus to ICT mainstreaming for women and youth. Because the gap was identified. Now it's time to close that gap. And yes, we believe that the youth are going to drive this digital transformation. As from the education sector, we see that more and more the digital fluent citizen are mostly the youth. Yeah. So there's no way youth are out of this. They are the ones to drive this. If we are talking about content, youth are most likely the ones to develop the content. From the stories they will be writing, from the applications they will be developing to solve local problems. So I see some young people developing solution for agriculture, solution for farming, solution for health sector, solution in the education sector, solution in the finance sector. So basically, the youth are going to be in the front of the line in this journey. So I rather call upon them to really be eager and join us very strongly, and really maybe if I may say, the youth are key, they are the power, but as I said, ICT plus youth, it's even more powerful. Right. So yeah, I call upon them to embrace ICT and use it for valuable activities. Right.
We were coming to Jonas just before you put it down, Josephine. People are still on your case. There's one here who's asking, can someone follow electronically the process of his request of fund in a bank without moving from an institution to another? I think this is a question where most tech entrepreneurs who are actually developing softwares that are able to allow people to do these kind of things are saying, where are the opportunities for us to be able to have these innovations embraced by these banking institutions? And so what would be the call here? I mean, before you pass the mic to Jonas, from a policy point of view, is there anything that you can do to be able to create opportunities for tech entrepreneurs who are coming up with such kind of innovations to be able to get a job at the end of the day?
Well, thank you for that particular question, because as adding on the theme of the discussion, ICT as a tool for entrepreneurship, earlier said that ICT also can create entrepreneurs, and through ICT actually there's a high potential to get employment and jobs. So we have things that are called like business process outsourcing. There are BPOs. There are ICT-enabled BPOs. If I take an example, like you said, struggle to get a loan from a bank, I have to go from point A to B and back and forth. With ICT, there's a way to make that life easy, like having all the information in one point. There are systems, but there are also people to operate the systems. So there's high potential to get our youth employed, like in the middle, like act as liaisons to simplify some of those processes. So if, for instance, I'm required to fill a form and has to go submit from this where to that where, there could be an opportunity to have a team of young people, digitally literate, who have skills, who are certified in some professional way of using ICT, and that are able to collect all that information to the bank in a very short period of time, and then have the client of the bank get the loan in a simple manner.
Simple manner. Jonas, as she says, it's so simple or easier said, but most of the time we have these entrepreneurs who feel I give up. I worked my all out to be able to come up with this innovation, but it's just there in my computer, it's just there in my home. I took it to, BDF, I took it to Eugene Anangwe. He refused to even take it or even look at it, and their spirit just dies like that. How do we revitalize this spirit of innovation, and what could be the problem as to why institutions don't take in these kind of innovations and continue to do business in their own traditional ways?
Usually investing in any IT solution, software-wise, like, as I said earlier, they come at a cheap cost. So when you approach an enterprise and pitch to them your solution, most of the time it's actually done as a prototype or something that is still on paper. For them to move from paper to actually showing the enterprise what the solution does from A to Z comes at a cost for them. They don't really have the means to build it from start to end. What the entrepreneurs need to appreciate is the effort put in so far, and at least give them leeway to finish whatever project they're working on, whatever solution they're working on. Look at the bigger picture, not just the cost at the moment, but what cost it will save you at the end of the day. So that there to me is the biggest challenge. Projects being pitched when they're just still raw. So the end user always shuns away from it as a very high risk and something to invest in that he didn't really see its success factor.
Right. So what would be the way forward there on that one?
I would encourage the youth who want to build these not to give up, but to try and understand the end client, the enterprise, the enterprises, the businesses that they're trying to pitch these ideas to.
Right.
Try and show them the end goal as opposed to where I have reached. Sell them the end goal of whatever solution you are actually working on.
Right. Chusa, is this easy for you when they just tell you, don't give up, come on, just keep doing this, and they still don't take in what you've come up with as a techpreneur? I mean, how can you relate this as a challenge to those who are using ICT as entrepreneurship?
I'm going to use one of the case study when we were presenting and pitching this countable app, which is last year we have done $4.8 million into transactions. So while we were pitching, talking to banks, we were looking for a trade line of $3 million, and we were having because when we present this to investors, they pitch it, and I think we need Rwandans and also banks in Rwanda to wake up and start running out of this kind of innovations, not just thinking that this is still at an early stage. Just look at the potential and buy the idea or scale it or be part of it, because now Countable is no longer a product of Rwanda. It is now an American company to Silicon Valley, which is now having more than $150 million. So it was developed here. It is a Rwandan product. But after just checking on who is ready to invest into it, no one here was ready just to give $3 million as a trade line to go into transactions. So those are the kind of cases where we have Rwandan banks sleeping, Americans, European are coming and are buying ideas here, and they are developing those ideas, and they will come back and sell those ideas to local banks, because now we are in negotiation with the local banks to start just getting connected to bank, even BDF. We are in talk where you are going to start buying data from us. I don't mind. So innovation, one of the hindrances here in Rwanda is first our regulations. How are we regulated in terms of innovation? If I bring you an idea, or if I bring you a product which is working, let's say I'm bringing my gorilla. You know, I have developed the gorilla. It is talking. It can do for different activities. So if who was ready to buy it? It has to go through the tender process. You want me to come and you will not include me in terms of doing the terms of reference, and you will not buy something which has not gone through the tender process.
So what do you want? What do you want,
So
Chusa?
what we want is the flexibility. First, if you see something which has potential, sit and ask questions, talk, and also look for the opportunity. If you are a bank, if you have a fund, I think having a fund and put it in your bank and wait for someone, just look for people. Get out of your comfort zone where you just manage money. Risk and venture. Let us start initiating venture capitalists here in our country.
Right. Chusa says it loud and clear. What do you think about that?
I think it's really interesting when it comes to apps and development. Sorry, my colleague with accountable now has reached Silicon Valley, but sometimes we play a big influence or a big role in having these apps moved further or collapsed, because sometimes we find an app developed by a young Rwandan, then we are all excited. We say, wow, that's amazing. Go on, produce more. We buy, do what? But when you look at the app, it needs further development, or it needs to be connected to some other international standards, so that that young people can be able to sell that application. So looking at maybe who are involved, who are supporting that software engineer to put that up to the standard, and how are we helping these young people to be able to develop an app that will compete with an app developed in Silicon Valley and in some other countries. You know, there are so many applications that you can easily find free of charge, and similar to some other apps developed by our young people, and they are planning to sell those apps, yet there are some free softwares available all around. So we need to think as stakeholders, as partners, what is our role in helping these young people to standardize even before they put out their softwares? Because when you say, this is nice, go and sell it, then if fail, it is very easy for them to give up.
Right. In closing, for you as your parting shot, just that same question that you've asked yourself or you've said we need to do. Personally, how are you going to play that role in ensuring that it is achieved? Because he says it is a situation of a prophet is not accepted at home. They work so hard to make them. Local banks just shun them away, and of course international companies take them, develop them into other levels, come back to sell them to you. How do we go about this way forward in very simple words?
In simple words, it's I will bring them together, like the case of Caleb, for example, have them in incubation, show them what is available, what is being done, very similar software that has been done, bring the standards, then they face the standards to sell their products. Because as long as the app is on the standard, because bank will not, or clients will not come to buy a software that's still under development. They will always need to buy final. So with the good job done by the Minister of ICT and some other partners to bring these young people into incubation centers and availing some youth-friendly centers here around countrywide so that they can be able to access and experience or test their products before they even sell them out. But if I'm me, I will encourage them to act fast, but move slowly, given the dynamism and change on the market.
Right. We have a question right there. Just pass the microphone really fast, and then we move to the other side of the panel.
Rakoze, my name is Moses Turatsinze. I'm here on behalf of the Rwanda Development Board. Well, it's not an outright question, but let me comment. Banks have always been demonized, but let us understand how they work. They don't risk with their money. Simple, you have to have collateral and you take the money. So, in the quest to support startups, especially in the ICT sector, people who don't have collateral, we are looking at soft businesses. So, this is where innovation dictates. And you talked of innovation, someone with an innovative business, but innovation, someone might define innovation when it's not actually innovation. Innovation is a new way of working, delivering a service or a product, but you ensure it addresses problems, it addresses people's needs. Most of our startups, including me, I have ever started businesses, but we look at ourselves and what we can do and what we can be good at, and we don't look at the end client and what people need, and we tailor our potentials to what they need. That's where the mismatch is. Now, at RDB, 75% of all the registered businesses, it's hard to trace them now. Most have closed, others are in liquidation, and over 20% are coming back to be deregistered. And that is not a good.
Do they ever tell you? Do they ever tell you why? Do they ever tell you why they're doing this?
The challenge they point are two. One, lack of funding. Two, that they opened the shop, they tried to work, but they are not getting clients. They are not getting clients.
Yeah.
So 1 year, they are out of business. Now, my opinion is ICT, which we are singing today, the workshop is about ICT as a tool. It's a tool, but it's not a magic bullet for you to overnight be in business and you are making money. Let's look at the creativity and innovation the young man from Chiniji is employing. There is a revenue stream. There is diversity of services. We are not looking at one service. Electricity vending, retailing, airtime vending, facilitating online banking. He listed about 10 services in one locality. That is innovation. People need these services. But most startups, that is innovation. You actually, mu Kinyarwanda bivuga ngo nugushima haribwa. People who are starting business, they are scratching where it itches. I'm trying to emphasize this for whoever is outside there wanting to start a business. You must identify where it itches and you try to scratch there. That's when you will be in business. Right. So, innovation. Let me come back to what Josephine talked about. At RDB, the ICT Innovation Fund that is being launched, government is coining it in a way that where it provides guarantee, but the money, the $100 million she talked about, is actually injected in by an investor. And they are going to be looking at the real innovation. The owner has the drive. There is ownership. The idea or the app or the service or the product is actually marketable.
Right.
And it is addressing client needs. The investor will put in money and will be able to advance that money to the startup. Government will provide guarantees. The Ministry of Youth and ICT and Rwanda Development Board and others, they have coined this to really be private sector focused and not looking at collaterals, but the proponents of businesses have to be really, really innovative.
Yeah, but let me just cut you short on this, because most of the time, it's like when we create these criteria for giving out these funds, we then fold our hands and sit back and says the trap is ready, let's wait for them to come, and tell them no, it's not innovative, and they go. So what are you doing to help them so that when they come to you, they have these projects that are well researched and very innovative as you want them to be?
Well, the detailed criteria of what will work and what won't work is still being fine-tuned. I right now don't have the details of that, but it will be cleared and fine-tuned very soon. And but Eugene, let me talk about something that I see outside here that
but
is
you
working.
still talk about what I've asked, eh?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. The funding. I'm seeing startups hari ibintu bita magirirane in microfinance institutions. They get groups of startup entrepreneurs, and those groups act as insurance, or they safeguard the risk, whichever risk is in the money that is going to be advanced to them. It is working. It's just an appeal I'm making to people who are starting up businesses to think about forming groups, cooperatives or associations, and going for microfinance institutions. Right. So what you asked me about
your role,
the role of, it's not RDB alone.
Yes.
The Ministry of the youth, actually. Mm-hmm. We have youth institutions. They are the ones that is going to help us fine-tune the criteria. We also have a new employment, national employment program secretariat. They are the ones helping us to know whom do we give an upper hand, I mean, in terms of prioritizing who will get. But the youth are the main target. Yeah. Those who are graduates out of school, yeah, with innovative ideas, and then they will be helped. I want to commend the TechnoServe work. This is a real incubation, and it seems they are focusing on preparing entrepreneurs to face the market, to really withstand the shocks of the market, and it's commendable. Yeah. I'm impressed.
Yeah, sir, but just to push you on this, because the actual bullet of my question was, yes, you know that these people come up with ideas that are not innovative when they come to ask for this financing. So then what do you do, or what are you doing, or what will you do for this fund that is being created to help them so that when they come, they have tangible projects that will be able to be financed? Just in 2 lines.
Where we have partners in preparing entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurship Development Unit in RDB, they have programs they are putting across to help those who have ideas to concretize them and be ready to compete for funding programs around. But again, as I said, we are looking to the Ministry of Youth, the Department of Youth, to be able to guide us here on how to effect this with well, we shall not have this program addressing all the needs of startup, but at least the ICT startups, and ICT is innovation in itself. those ones, they are going to be priority. But again, we are looking at these partners. We are fine-tuning the criteria on which, through which, to advance and link the startups to this fund.
Right. Thank you so much. Josephine, I'll bring it to you as we close, as you're parting short, because that question there, I still want to go back on it, because he says they have partners who help to train and help these innovators, but still says we have those who come with half-baked projects and they want financing. Is this a question of a teacher teaching the children or students? When they fail exams, they blame the children for failing the exams, yet they're the ones who trained them? Talk to me.
Thank you, Eugene, and thanks for the intervention. And answering that question, I want to commend the work done by most of our partners, including TechnoServe and others. Since, as we talk about innovation, it's not enough to have just the idea. There is a lot of other skills or capabilities that are required to actually move up your innovation or your idea to the market, to compete and to scale up, yet to also sustain. So if I come back to the work that was presented from the testimonies of the TechnoServe graduates, was it Stride program graduates, whereby they were able to accomplish or achieve their targets because they were trained, because they were guided, because they were mentored, because they were informed. So as other sectors, also ICT needs that. You can sit in your room with your computer and develop an application, but that's not enough to compete on the market. That's not enough to go talk to a bank and get the fund or a loan. It requires to be able to develop a business plan behind that application or that business that you are thinking. You need a business model. How are you going to make money? I like the fact that some of the young who talked to us earlier, they mentioned of doing a market research, and that's what my colleague is referring to. You can't just produce a product without a need. You have to do market research and find out what your environment needs, what the market you are targeting needs, and then develop a solution or try to address that particular need, either through services or product. Right. So I'm calling upon our youth, and this is what we usually do, to really be connected, get information, do some research, a bit of research on what you, if I'm trying to develop an application, I must see if there's someone else who've tried ever doing such a thing. If I find someone who does that and I want really to do that, I must do something and add on what is already there. So bringing innovation, it means a new way of doing things, creative. So in concluding, I may say that yes, it's still a way to go, but really for the time being, we need to start, no more waiting, and get informed, do research, and then be sure that once we innovate, we are working with peers. Don't be out of the network. There are people working in Calab. There are other being incubated at TechnoServe, say Musanze, Nyanza, Ruhango. What is happening there? If they are getting trained on how to elaborate a business plan, I need that I need that knowledge to be able to make a business. If they are going to be getting some finance literacy, I don't know how to manage my money. I don't know how to save. I don't know how to invest. I may be doing ICT related work, but I can invest in agriculture. I have a friend of mine doing piggery. I can maybe support that person, but in some time I get return on some money that I lent to my maybe colleague in an association. So it's always good to work in association, be informed, get advice, present your ideas to get critics and comments on what you're trying to do, so to be able to really do something that is addressing a need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very powerful. And of course, it is on that note, due to time limiting factors, we are just going to close it at this particular point. But that's the whole aim of these kind of debates, to spark up that need for this kind of talk. And of course, we're going to keep these conversations going on online and in every other platform that we have. And so thank you so much for being with us on the program. We'll still be talking about this in other platforms. So thank you so much also for those who have been tweeting and joining us in this conversation through different platforms. It is not just enough to innovate. It is not just enough to have that attitude of an entrepreneur. You need to still keep yourself informed in every way possible. So we'll see you again next time on Debate411. As always, my name is Eugene and Nangwe. Goodbye for now.